So I just wanted to show you in this video how you can shape your face, blush and bronze and highlight in a really natural way. I mean, the word probably is contouring, but I want to call it non-touring because I think the whole idea of contouring has got a little bit crazy. I just want to show you how you can do it really naturally, really quickly, really easily, and just how everything can blend seamlessly into your skin and you can make your face look alive in really, really short space of time. So let me show you how it's done. So today's subject is contouring, which is a rather contentious subject. I don't like the word contouring just because it has become something quite weird and you get diagram faces and it's a bit heavy and it's a bit wrong. So I kind of prefer either non-touring or just shaping of the face. So I've prepped my skin and I always do the contouring underneath foundation. I'm going to use this Burberry contour pen because it's the easiest way to show you. So I always like to shape the face like this to give you shape on the jawline. So what you have to remember, and up here into the temple, but what you have to remember about contouring is that it's a shadow. So the colours that you use, they need to be slightly ashy in tone, not rich and no glitter at all, because that's when it looks wrong. And it also must blend in seamlessly. You shouldn't see it. I mean, that's like a no-no. Diagram face, no. And the jaw as well. Again, I have spoken on this before. You can contour the nose. I don't like it. I think it looks wrong. It's up to you. If you were, it would be to go along here, but I don't like it. I think it looks weird and I think it looks draggy. And I think, you should leave it as it is. So a little bit of a space here because it doesn't need to be heavy, and then blend in with a foundation brush or with your hands. As you can see, it's starting to create a shadow and it's giving my face a little bit of shape. And this all goes on underneath the makeup, underneath the foundation. So it's all seamless. Underneath the jaw. Blend it in. Make sure you blend it in. I mean, you don't want to have like big dirty marks here, so you need to make sure it's all blended in. As you can see, that pen blends in really easy and it looks really natural, and it's starting to give my face a little bit of definition in a really natural way. So the next thing I'd want to contour or shape would be the eye. So I'm using this Chanel Ombre Premier, which I use quite a lot because it's a really good colour. And then I'm just going to go into the socket line here like this. It can be quite rough, just to give the eye some definition, particularly if you are a little bit older. This can really help. So if your eyes have started to come down a little bit, because mine have, this really helps. This line, and it's creamy, so it's not powdery, it sort of like makes the eye take a step back. If you're younger, it's just going to make your lids come out forward and give them a little bit of pop. So I'm just going to blend that out on both sides. These blend really easily, so you can just blend that in really quickly. So you can see that my eyes have started to take on a little bit of shape. So this is the eyes. So for my next trick, I'm going to show you something that's quite clever. So this is rosewood and it's a Burberry contour pen. And I like to pop it underneath, run it underneath the eye like this. And I'll show you why. So you can see underneath my eye, I kind of have this sort of purpley colour, and it's quite natural to my eye colour. So what it does is it kind of gives my eye, it kind of opens up my eyes in a really natural way. Now, depending on what your colouring is, you could use coppers, you could use golds, or if you're sort of my colouring, you can use this rosewood colour. But it just opens up the eye in like a really, so you can see they just look a little bit bigger, but in a really natural way. So the next thing I'm going to do, my next trick, is tiny little eye highlights. So this is a Burberry highlighting pen, and I'm just going to highlight the inner corners here and on the Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to stop there and I'm going to apply foundation. So I'm going to put a little bit of highlighter here under the eye, just for a little bit of extra ping. It's a sizzly one, which I quite like. And that also highlights the top of the cheeks, but it also gives the eyes a little bit of ping as well on the under eye. Let's rub that in. So it's all, with shaping, you're just trying to put in like either little bits of darkness to step it away or a little bit of light to bring it forward. So basically, if you want something to be seen, then you put a light colour on it. If you don't want it to be seen, you put a dark colour on it, step it away. Then I'm going to use some of the Chanel Les Beige Eau De Teint, which I really like, serum foundation. I'm just going to pop that over everything that I have already done. And then we'll move on to highlighting, blushing and bronzing. As that all just blends in, use your hands, blend it in. Okay, and then we are ready to conceal and highlight. Okay, so once the foundation's applied, I then use a concealer to highlight. So I'm using this Chanel one today. The reason I put the foundation on before the concealer is so the concealer has something to sort of adhere to. It's got something to sort of work with. So I would then highlight, well, it's kind of, well, you're covering your bags and you're highlighting at the same time. So I would do this. So you're creating light underneath the eye. And then I don't mind a nose highlight to there. I'm just funny about nose contouring. But I don't mind that light down there. And a little bit into the forehead to sort of open that up. And then onto the chin. Blend it all in. So it all needs to be seamless. I mean, if I was doing a sort of no makeup, that would probably be it. That would be all I would do. Simple as that. Just pat that in. Make sure you've got lots of light. Make sure it's all blended. I don't like eyebrow highlights either. I think they are a little bit distracting. That's the other one. So you can do the underneath the eyebrow, but again, I don't like it. I think it's really distracting. And actually, a lot of photographers would probably tell you to take that down. So I don't tend to do it. I'm not keen. And that would be it. So that would be like a sort of no makeup. I'd probably add a little bit more here to draw attention to the eye, make them look a little bit wider. Yeah, and that would be it. So next is blushing, and I'm going to use the blush from this Chanel palette Essentielle palette, and I'm going to use this colour. So with blush, you need to have a look at how your skin, when you've exercised and how your skin goes. So when you get like that natural flush, look at that colour and then try and find a blusher to match. And then you sort of will be in that same like right area. I really like, I mean, I like sort of pink on sort of pale skin. I like sort of reds going up to really dark skin. Just have a look and see what, you know, works. So I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to use it on the apples of the cheeks. And I'm going to use it in an upward direction. So it's just on the apples for blush, and also just keep it sort of going up so that you're keeping your face lifted, so to speak. It's gone a little bit over like that. So you want to keep your face lifted. So it's like this. There. So you can see I've built up like quite a nice glow. And again, you could just stop here and just blush. Just if you blend it with your fingers, it looks really natural. So you could just stop there with like a little bit of a flushed blush, maybe a little bit more. You can always go back in. I tend to find with blush, it tends to sort of sink into the skin a bit, especially with these cream blushes, but it's really nice that it does that because it becomes part of your skin. It kind of almost sort of all becomes quite sort of harmonious. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bronze. So what you don't want to be doing is using a bronzer as a contour. A bronzer is to create like as if you've been kissed by the sun. So basically want to be hitting all the points that the sun would hit. So I'm using, this is a new formulation, which is the Teint de Chanel Les Beige, which I use quite a lot. I have this in my kit and I use it a lot. I'm using a big brush and I'm just going to put it on to my cheekbones a lot, because I quite like to use a combination of blusher and bronzer together, because I kind of think it makes the face look really alive. So I'm just going to really, this is cream, so it's really good for anyone any age. I'm just going to be quite, you know, I'm not going to be precise. I'm just going to say here, so that you get touched by the sun here, across the forehead. I'm just going to give myself some really good colour, because I am quite pale. I mean, you can be quite, you know, you can see I'm really sort of going to town with this. And maybe even across the eyelids, the brush, there. So you can see I've really started to get some colour, and you can just keep working in until you're happy with the level of colour. Right up to here, you know, see if I've been in the sun, which I don't do. There. So you don't need to be too precise. As you can see, it's giving me colour and it's here, but it's not a contour. You can put a little bit here, a little bit of colour, warm me up a bit. And then for the final thing, just to finish, I am going to do a cheek highlight. I'm using the transparent, the Baume Essentielle in transparent, which is my favourite, because just because it looks really natural. And you could even maybe even pop a little bit here, down the nose, and that is contouring, highlighting, blushing and bronzing the right way, or non-touring, I'd like to call it. Have a go.